In 2020, what can we earn with Uber? What can we earn with Lyft? Right. So I want to break down a couple of factors for you. My knowledge obviously comes from Los Angeles and surrounding areas. I do enjoy researching. I was really interested to find out what like a median income would be in specific cities for the United States, break it down like that. I did come across a couple of articles by Rideshare dating back to 2018. There are a couple of other numbers out there, right? But it's interesting to see that when the survey was done, if you're looking at the 100% pie, 74.7% are moving on the UberX platform, right? 16.4% are on Uber XL. Then it gets much less. Uber Select. Now, it is my belief that by July 2020, they will be phasing out Select in most cities. It's truly not working for them. But a 6.4% also drive on that platform. Now, when it gets to the sort of high-end cars, right, this makes a lot of sense. It's a far bigger investment. Not everybody is driving a Suburban. Not everyone is driving an S550 Mercedes-Benz. The percentages drop much lower, right? So 1.3%, let's say, drive in the SUV category, 0.8% in the Uber Black category, a very small percentage, 0.5% in the Uber Luxury division. So this is my field here. This is where I operate in. But I do lease vehicles in all categories, right? So I can give you some really good feedback on LA, and we can project those numbers onto the rest of the nation to get a good idea what you should be earning. So UberX, the actual median income as of that date, what I could find right now is about $13.70, right, per hour. My friends, this excludes tips. Noting anybody that wants to join Uber, your lowest entry-level economy platform is also the lowest tipping platform, right? Now, here's where it gets interesting. You looking at Uber as a job, as a newbie, or you looking to climb the ladder, increase your income? I can help you on both levels. If you are looking to enter the rideshare business, you have a car, you have a used car, you have a new car. I would say, 7 to 8 times out of 10, that car would automatically qualify for UberX. Typical examples: Toyota Camry, Toyota Prius, Ford Focus maybe, right? They would automatically slot your vehicle in to UberX. It's their biggest money maker. The combination of UberX and pool trips is what makes Uber the most money, right? And that is the playground where 91% of the drivers move in a combination of X, XL. Now, it gets way more exciting between X and XL. XL usually minivans, Honda Odyssey, Town and Country, Chrysler, maybe Toyota Sienna, smaller SUVs. You have to have 7 factory fitted seat belts in there, right? You have to be able to seat 7 people in the XL. Now, purchasing an UberX or XL, right? Going out, buying a used car, there really isn't much difference. There might be a difference in the per mile gas usage, but if you shopping correctly, you could pick up a very decent vehicle in either of these categories, anywhere, 5 to 10,000, anywhere 8 to 12,000. Yeah, if you're shopping well and you're getting a, not high mileage, but 60 to 80,000 miles, that's where you should be coming in. Most people are, I would say, not risk takers, so they will not get into this market. 2.6% of the drivers really only move in the high-end markets, SUV, Black, Lux, right? So if you think of it, 2.6%, don't, sorry, I got to word it the following way. 2.6% of the drivers own such a vehicle and can go and register in those, or 2.6% of the market of the drivers will say, hey, you know what, I'm going to either upgrade from XL to SUV, or I'm going to go straight in. I have a lot of experience in the limo business. I don't want to mess around in X. I want to go straight into the SUV category. So a very, very small percentage takes the risk, goes in here. A very small percentage goes out and spends the money on a car like that to get into these categories, right? However, if you look at the income here, Select, which I say is going to be phased out, is $14.85 per hour. Excel, you're earning $14.84 per hour or higher, excluding tips. Black SUV, Black is $24.87 per hour, SUV $25.38 per hour, and Lux, I really couldn't find any reliable numbers, but it's usually higher. Now, for the people who are thinking of climbing the ladder, offloading the X, maybe even offloading the XL vehicle, and want to jump into this arena, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. That is sort of my niche there, but I can also give you tons of valuable information on these based on the fact that I see what drivers are earning in X and XL because I rent the cars out to them, used cars, usually Priuses, minivans, SUVs, etc. And I get a very good feel on what they are bringing in per week. And when you break it down per hour, I would say my drivers are earning slightly higher than this, right? But when it comes to tips, you can really dictate your own numbers. If you're swimming in this pond, your X, it's low. College students and that, people who are on a budget just don't tip. People that are driving pool will absolutely not tip. But if you're playing in this ocean here, SUV drivers, CEOs, sportsmen, managers, middle management, companies that have accounts with Uber, the tips are usually way, way, way higher, right? Here you would find yourself doing a lot of airport drop-offs, hotel pickups. XL is an interesting one. Larger parties, usually 6 people. Could be a lot of luggage involved. Could be airport runs, hotels, driving people to, Super Bowl parties, etc. People, 2 families traveling together, etc., etc. So you jump into this arena based on the car that you own, right? And if you don't own a car, you can usually go out into the rental world. But what's available in the rental world, 80 to 90% of the vehicles that they rent out, safe bet, are to this percentage of drivers, 74.7%, right? So your income level is pretty much dictated by the car rentals that are out there. Very seldom do you find the opportunity to rent something here. It gets way, way more expensive, but the money earning opportunities increase exponentially. Now, the area that I like, the area where I train up a lot of drivers, is I help them go from there maybe to XL and then jump across here. Some people come to me directly and say, hey, I have a couple of years of limo experience. I want to jump into this ocean right over here, right? My friends, when you are driving on Uber, on Lyft, in the lower income bracket here, in the lower per hour income bracket, there's really, really not much wiggle room to move besides getting this per hour, right? That's even before all your deductions, right? But you can have a lot of control over tips. Even in the UberX and Lyft regular, if you're giving platinum excellent service, I have seen people on X platforms who don't offer service, and I have seen drivers who offer platinum service, and usually they make it up in tips. On this side here, it gets extremely interesting because anyone that's diving in here into this 2.6% segment of the market, right, should go out and splash an additional $800 to $1,200 for their private livery license, limo license, TCP license, TCN license. And that really varies in cost state by state. Usually takes you about 60 to 90 days. When you are moving in this area here, you have an Uber SUV, you're doubling up Lyft SUV, and you have your private clientele, and you're building it out and building it out. This hourly of $25.38 increases every 6 months. The more private clients you're getting in, the less rideshare trips you're doing, the higher and higher and higher your hourly income climbs there. You can easily on some days make $50 to $100 per hour, right? Including tips, right? Which includes tips, sorry. If you are doing mostly private trips, couple of Uber, couple of Lyft, just to fill the gaps, right? So if you're thinking of jumping into Uber and Lyft, please do reach out to me, right? Let's discuss the possibilities. The number question I get is, hey, I want to join in Orlando. I want to join in LA. What can I make? There are so many variables here, right? Based on what you can make. What do your shifts look like? Are you willing to be the early bird and get up at 5:30 a.m. and position yourself around a hotel and get your first nice long inbound or outbound airport trip, right? The when and where factors can really, really impact these median income averages, right? How you schedule out your week, where you drive. So throwing out a very generic question such as, hey, how much can I earn in Orlando, right? Okay, well, do you own a car, right? What car is it? What car will they be putting you in? What optional platform will they be putting you in, right? You don't own a car. You have this $250 rental expense over your head each week, right? So there are so many variables that will influence this. But earning upwards, climbing up the ladder is truly an easy thing. I've experimented in the beginning here, 3 to 4 months here, still talk to a lot of Uber and Lyft drivers that I lease out vehicles to, so I get real good data there. I drove here for a while. I enjoyed it, right? And I said to myself, hey, if you have an XL vehicle and you're driving multiple parties, how can you extract more money out of 6 passengers? The only logical step then is to dive in here. When I dove in here, right, and then had my dear friend Alex from Business Rocket years and years and years ago say, hey, Torsten, you should really add your TCP California license to your Suburban. Everything changed, right? Everything changed for the better money-wise. And today, I can honestly tell you, some people believe I don't do any Uber or Lyft trips anymore. I can tell you that I'm on the 80 to 85 percentile private client side because I built that base out, right? And about 10 to 15%, I will dive in and use my use those last 2 trips at the end of the day to maybe capitalize on an Uber return or a Lyft return with my destination filters, right? So depending what car you have, where you want to go, let's have that conversation. But this gives you a very, very rough indicator about the medians, right? It's slightly higher than that once you start factoring in your tips. Again, on the tip side, we can have great discussions on how you can really, really accelerate, I can give you good tips on how to make good tips. But you basically, at the end of the day, based on your car, determine whether you in this pond here with 91% of the drivers, or if you want to break out of that pond and come and swim in the ocean with these 2.6%. Whatever your goals are, whatever your ambitions are, I would love to have that discussion with you. I would love to help you, right? And if you want to break out of this and come into the middle or go right to the top, let's also have that conversation. The game is fairly much the same category to category, right? But the clientele, right, changes big time. The tips change big time. Your earnings go through the roof when you're playing in the Lux SUV field and you have your private livery, your private limo license, right? Let's have that conversation. Drive safe.